Hello once again, friends and enemies. I am back for another video, and today, instead of a card game review, the new Duel Disc, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel Disc, has come out. So I was thinking of doing like a little product review for this very beautiful item. So let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. So on first glance, one of the first things I noticed is that this bar here, unlike the Battle City Duel Disc that recently came out in 18 or 19, this is going straight out instead of being, armed towards you. So instead of the Duel Disc laying flat on your arm like it would, it lays at kind of an angle so that you can very easily hold it, look down at your field, but it's still facing up enough to look very natural. It doesn't look awkward at all, especially when you move around, which this is another thing. This Duel Disc, being the smallest Duel Disc that's ever been made, is very, very light. You can move it around very quickly. It's very sturdy. It's a very, very sturdy Duel Disc. Duel Discs are usually known for not being great for the card game or not being great for being sturdy, but this Duel Disc is made of a hard plastic. It's not going to be moving around or doing all of that stuff. Now, while it's still not super great to play the card game with, the Duel Disc does play better than most other Duel Discs, at least in my opinion. Let's get a card out here real quick. That is the one thing I would say, is that the area where you put your deck, the little deck holding area, the way that the Duel Disc wants you to draw your cards is a little bit hard, which is one downfall of the Duel Disc. But once you have your cards out, you can put them in the slot, you can put them in face-up attack mode, you can take them out and put them in defense mode, like that. You can also put them in these little, spell and trap card zones. They're up at the top, like the current Battle City Duel Disc is, not like the old toys. And one of the things with every Duel Disc is that when you put them in a slot like this, you can see that the card bends. 1 second. So like that. You can see as we're putting the card in, it does bend a little bit. The good thing about that, though, about Rush Duel cards, is that Rush Duel cards are made of a different card stock than regular Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They're a tiny, tiny bit thicker, which means that you can bend them a little bit more without worrying about them getting ruined. They also stay in shape a long time, a lot longer than regular Yu-Gi-Oh cards do. Current day Yu-Gi-Oh, I should say. It can hold a full 60 card unsleeved deck, or if you have sleeves, it can hold up to, I believe, 50 sleeved cards in this little deck holder, which also is magnetized to the Duel Disc, and you can take off and use as a little deck box, which I think is super nifty and neat. Other features we have the little field spell zone right there coming out, and then on the other side of the Duel Disc, we have the extra deck zone. So if you have an extra deck in Rush Duel, you can go ahead and put them in there. Now, since Rush Duel cards are currently only in Japanese, there's probably not going to be a lot of North American or European people playing Rush Duel, but it is still a cool little collector's thing to have. That being said, let's go ahead and check out all the lights, all the little electronics, so I can show you how well it looks and sounds. So it's got a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's type of voice lines from Yuga, and sometimes you can hear things from the other characters like Roman and Roa. It sounds very nice, it sounds super clean. The Lifepoint counter, I'll bring it up close. As you can see here, the Lifepoint counter display is very clean, very neat and nice. It looks very, you can't see any of the background stuff behind the screen. One thing that does suck about the Lifepoint counter, though, is much like the old 2004 toy Duel Discs, it only goes up to about 9,000. It doesn't go any higher than that. Another cool thing, you can click this button, and much like the Battle City Duel Disc, you can do that, which is very nice. Each of the field zones do not light up, but each of the little lights at the end do line up. And in Rush Duel, if you haven't seen Rush Duel or Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's before, they have a thing called Maximum Summoning, where you summon 3 cards at once that act as one monster. And if you do that on the Duel Disc, let me see if I can get it to work here. All comes out and you get a special voice. yeah, so overall, pretty cool dual disc, pretty sturdy. Like I said before, very, very well made dual disc. They really learned something from when they let Bondi do the Proplica Battle City dual disc. Taking a look at some other stuff that came with the dual disc here. All right, so here we have some promotional items that came with the dual disc. Here we have some promotional Rush Duel cards. You can see we have promotional Blue Eyes White Dragon here that looks very pretty if it'll focus. We've got this promotional Rush Duel Mirror Force, a legend card, and we've got this promotional other Rush Duel card, which I believe is Seven Roads Paladin, but I could be wrong about that. Other than that, we have these ID cards for the Rush Duel. They resemble the 4 main characters of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime. They don't really serve a purpose with the dual disc. I thought they would, you know, trigger different voice lines depending on which ID card you put in the dual disc, but they don't. They're strictly just here for collector value or cosplay items, you know, if you're doing cosplay or something like that. But yeah, they're all very, very pretty, very nice looking. Yeah, very, very much worth it, especially these cards, because these would have been expensive to get otherwise. The only other thing that's on the dual disc is this little slot here, and if you're planning on doing any like cosplay of one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's characters or anything like that, you can take whatever ID card you're using and just slip it right into that slot there. Just be careful, make sure, you know, it doesn't come out. Which sometimes they do, but there's a little thing in there that's supposed to keep them secured. So if you want to do a little, you know, cosplay with this, very easy cosplay item. And yeah, that is the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's Rush Duel dual disc. This is my first time doing a product review, so I apologize if it's a little bit messy, but I did see that some people around different websites were saying that they would like to have more Yu-Gi-Oh! Product reviews, and so I'm kind of hoping to try and jump into that little window there, do a little bit of product review, tell you how a device works, and you know, all that other fun stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and let me know in the comments or leave a like or something like that. I know that feels uncomfortable fishing for stuff. Do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. And until next time, drink your water.